Ladies and gentlemen, football fans across America and beyond, buckle up, because today's story is one that's not just turning heads in Dallas but shocking the entire football world. The Dallas Cowboys, yes, America's team, have just pulled off a move no one saw coming, one that's far more than just a roster transaction. This is a cultural lightning strike. This is about a dream decades in the making finally getting its due recognition. The Cowboys have officially signed Mexican star Isaac Alarcón, and if you're a fan of the sport, of underdog stories, or just witnessing history being made, then you're going to want to stick around because what's happening right now is nothing short of incredible. Let's rewind for a moment to understand the full scope of why this signing is capturing the imagination of fans not only in Texas but throughout Latin America and the football world at large. Isaac Alarcón's journey to the NFL is not your typical gridiron tale. Born in Monterrey, Mexico, a country where soccer dominates the athletic landscape, Isaac didn't start playing American football until he was a teenager. While most NFL prospects in the United States start their football careers in Pee-wee leagues, high school programs, or elite youth camps, Isaac picked up the game relatively late, but once he did, there was no turning back. He threw himself into the sport with everything he had, playing with a ferocity and discipline that soon made him stand out. He attended the Monterrey Institute of Technology, one of Mexico's top universities, where he became a dominant force on the offensive line. He was big, he was strong, and more importantly, he was smart. He absorbed the game with the kind of hunger that coaches dream of, and before long, he earned the chance of a lifetime to join the NFL's International Player Pathway program. That program, for those who may not be familiar, is one of the NFL's most ambitious and visionary projects, aimed at scouting and developing talent from countries outside the United States. It's about finding the diamonds in the rough, the untapped athletes from places like Germany, Australia, Nigeria, and in Isaac's case, Mexico. In 2020, Isaac became one of the few players chosen for this program, and that's when the first chapter of his NFL journey truly began. He was assigned to the Dallas Cowboys, an organization with one of the largest and most passionate fan bases in the world, including millions of fans in Mexico. For Isaac, it was surreal. He went from training in Monterrey to suiting up in the iconic blue and silver of the Cowboys, sharing locker rooms with household names like Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and Zach Martin. But it wasn't all glamour. In fact, most of it was anything but. Isaac knew that making it to the NFL was only half the battle. Staying there, making a name for yourself, earning a spot on the 53-man roster, that was the real war. And for 3 years, he fought that war every single day. He trained relentlessly, adapted to new schemes, faced top-tier competition, and even underwent a bold position switch from offensive tackle to defensive line. Yes, you heard that right. In 2023, in a move that surprised many, the Cowboys decided to test Isaac's athleticism and football IQ by moving him to the defensive side of the ball. While the transition from offensive line to defensive tackle is extremely rare, borderline unheard of at the professional level, it speaks volumes about Isaac's versatility and dedication that the coaching staff believed he could pull it off. Think about that for a moment. You've spent your entire career learning the techniques, footwork, and mindset of one side of the ball, and then you're asked to flip it all. Learn new techniques, new responsibilities, entirely different instincts. Most players would have struggled or even outright refused. But not Isaac. He embraced the challenge with open arms, throwing himself into film study, weight training, one-on-one drills, and whatever else was needed to make the transition work. That's the kind of mindset coaches can't teach. It's the kind of heart that you either have or you don't. And Isaac had it. He impressed defensive coaches with his raw strength, leverage, and effort even if the technique wasn't perfect yet. He showed flashes of disruption during practice and preseason games, earning the respect of teammates and coaches alike. But despite all that, he still faced the uphill battle of roster politics. International players often come in with practice squad exemptions, meaning they get a developmental spot but are rarely activated for actual games. It's a double-edged sword. Yes, you're in the league, but you're also placed in a box that's hard to climb out of. Isaac called it the gilded cage. And for years, he lived in that cage, watching others get chances while he kept grinding in the shadows. But here's where the story takes a turn. After being waived in 2023, many assumed his time in the NFL was done. Maybe he'd return to play in Mexico. Maybe he'd coach. Maybe he'd disappear from the headlines. But Isaac never gave up. He kept working. He stayed ready. And now, in 2025, the Cowboys have shocked the league by officially bringing him back not just as a PR move or a preseason body, but with a legitimate shot at making an impact. This signing is more than just a football transaction, it's a statement. It's a recognition of everything Isaac has overcome. The surgeries, the doubters, the language barriers, the cultural leap, the mental battles, the positional switch, it's all culminated in this moment. And for the Dallas Cowboys, this isn't just about sentimentality, it's about football. Isaac brings size, strength, and raw power that fits perfectly into the Cowboys' evolving defensive identity. With Dan Quinn's aggressive, rotation-heavy system, Isaac could find his role as a space eater, a two-down run stopper, or even develop into a disruptive interior presence. He's got the tools, he's got the will, and now, he's got the opportunity. But perhaps more importantly, this move has lit a fire among fans in Mexico and across Latin America. Let's not forget football is growing rapidly outside the US, and Mexico is one of the NFL's biggest international markets. Cowboys games routinely pull massive ratings there. The team has played games in Mexico City, and every time they do, it feels like a home game. By signing Isaac, the Cowboys aren't just strengthening their roster, they're embracing a cultural connection that goes deeper than just wins and losses. This is representation. This is visibility. Young kids in Monterrey and Mexico City will see Isaac and say, if he can do it, maybe I can too. That's the power of a moment like this. It transcends the sport. It creates legacy. It opens doors. And for the NFL as a whole, this could be another stepping stone toward a truly international league. We've already seen the rise of players like Jordan Mailata from Australia and Jakob Johnson from Germany. Now Isaac Alarcon becomes the new face of Mexico's presence in the NFL. And who knows, maybe this is just the beginning. Maybe in 5 years, we'll see a flood of talent from Latin America making their mark on Sundays. If so, they'll owe a lot of that trailblazing credit to Isaac. Now, the road ahead is still long. Training camp battles are brutal. Roster cuts are ruthless. Nothing is guaranteed. But for now, Isaac is back in a Cowboys jersey. He's back in the building. He's got the star on his helmet, the pride of Mexico on his shoulders, and the belief of a fanbase behind him. And if there's one thing we've learned from his story, it's this: you can never count out a man who refuses to quit. So as we get ready for another thrilling NFL season, remember this name, Isaac Alarcon. Because the kid from Monterrey isn't just back, he's ready to make history. And whether he's taking down running backs in the backfield, pushing through double teams, or just standing tall on the sideline waiting for his shot, he represents more than just a player. He represents heart, he represents hustle, he represents hope, and the Dallas Cowboys may have just made their smartest signing yet, not just for what he can do on the field, but for everything he means off it. So, what do you think, Cowboys Nation? Is Isaac Alarcon the underdog story we've all been waiting for? Can he crack the 53-man roster and become a game-changer? Or maybe, just maybe, could he become the next unlikely hero of the Dallas Cowboys' next playoff push? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and if you're as fired up as I am, make sure you're subscribed, because we're going to be following every step of Isaac's journey right here on the channel. And to all our viewers watching from Mexico, este momento es para ustedes. El suo es real. Isaac est de regreso. Let's go.